Hi guys, I'm here to make a short little video about why I think it's really important that we stop making excuses as to why your fave can't hold themselves accountable and why we have to shelter them. So I just want to start off this video with saying that I'm not talking about any idol in particular because, truth be known, I don't really care to name shout. But if you get triggered and you put an idol's name in the comments, that's you, not me. So anyway, let's get started with the video. So what is holding yourselves accountable, really? Because I feel like everyone kind of forgets what it is and what it means. Holding yourself accountable means you manage your work and life's tasks, fulfill your obligations to whoever, and consistently self-reflect on yourself. You also accept the outcomes of your decision-making processes and assess any changes you want to make in the future. That was from Indeed.com, which is basically an app or a website that helps you find jobs. And yes, it's a job website, but I think this just easily applies to real life. Yes, when you hold yourself accountable, you are taking a self-reflection, looking at yourself, seeing what things you can change and who you want to be in the future to better yourself. I really think that this is something that the K-pop community says that they do for their idols, but doesn't necessarily do it. I want to just call myself out for a second because I feel like I can talk about this now. And if you want to unsubscribe, you can totally do so. I bullied in grade 2. Yes, I was young, but that doesn't excuse it. I was mean to this girl who, before I considered her my friend, I got mad. And there was a reason I got mad. It was because of things going on at home. But that doesn't excuse me pushing out all that internal anger onto her. I hurt her. Mentally, I hurt her. And I was mean and cruel. And looking back at it now, it's embarrassing. And I can't believe I did it. But I want to talk about that situation and how I held myself accountable. The first thing I did was self-reflect, which means I took time away from myself or from others. I didn't go to school for a while. I didn't do much. I didn't hang out with friends. I didn't do anything. I kind of just spent time on my own. I even talked to my teachers because I wanted to do better. The next thing I did was after I self-reflected, I realized what I did wrong, and I apologized. Not some fake apology, not one that I had to do. No teacher told me to apologize. No one told me to apologize. I took it upon myself to do so because I actually cared that I did something wrong. I apologized up front. And at first, it was really iffy because I could tell that the person didn't really trust me. Because, who would trust someone who wasn't being nice to you for a while, that they're saying sorry and that they'll just stop? And that's when another part comes into play, called showing that you changed, or at least showing that you're changing. Which doesn't mean putting on a show, but it means just the natural things that you do shows that you've changed. You're not being mean anymore. You're not doing things anymore that you used to do that used to hurt the person. After a while, that girl and we did become friends again. And we're not as close now because I moved schools and we just didn't keep in touch. But I know her and she knows me and we're at the same high school now. And whenever I'd see her, I'd kind of say hi. And she'd say hi back, and we'd smile at each other because we came at peace with each other. And I changed, and she saw that, and we were able to be nice to each other. Now, obviously, it's not going to be all sunshine and roses for an idol, because there's a difference between being a grade 2 who doesn't have cameras on them and just, can sort out their friend affairs in private, and being an idol who has everyone watching you when you're in a scandal. But holding yourself accountable is always something that can happen. Holding yourself accountable needs to happen in order for change. You cannot change if you don't hold yourself accountable. It's impossible. It is literally impossible. You cannot. The smallest thing your idol can do is say sorry. And even if people don't trust that sorry, the next step they take is to show that they changed. Show that they're doing things for the better. Doesn't mean performative activism, but just show that you're never going to do it again by never doing it again. You know the reason why people get mad at certain idols? It's because they're always getting into the same shit. They're always getting into the same shit. They're always being in these scandals for doing who knows what. And that's why people can't trust them when they say sorry. That's why people call them out and call them their apologies bullshit. Because you can't trust a person who doesn't learn, who doesn't understand that they need to change. If your favorite artist isn't changing every time they make a mistake, they're not holding themselves accountable as much as you think they are. No matter how much their apology says it, they obviously aren't if they don't show the change. Because holding yourself accountable means you are willing to change, means you are willing to do better, and you'll try to do better. Because like my dad always says, if you can't do it right the first time, then you'll do it right the second time. And you won't have to try a third time because you know what you did wrong the first time. But some of your idols can't do that. And you're letting it slide by saying that they learned. But how can I trust that they learned if they're going to do the same shit every time? Consistency. That's what they need. They don't need their fans coming at their defense saying they changed if they're not going to show they changed. And by show, I mean never making that mistake again. Your idol can make mistakes. Your fave can make mistakes. Everyone does it. It's a part of being human. Not everyone is educated on everything. We learn things every single day. The difference is that once you make the mistake, you learn what you did wrong and you better yourself, which is something that K-pop fans are not allowing their faves to do. Because every time their fave gets in trouble, they say, well, they learned this time. But what if they do it again? They do it again and they say, well, they learned this time. But what if they do it again? Well, they learned this time. Well, at this point, girl, no one's learning. No one is learning. It's just aggravating. It's very angering seeing how people treat this stuff like it's nothing, like it's a game. And this is why so many of your faves are doing cultural appropriation and racism 24/7. Because you don't hold them in the regard that they can learn. You are stumping their growth. Because you are not letting them be held accountable. You're coddling them. They're not babies. If an 8-year-old can learn and grow, so can an 18-year-old. Learning and growing and changing is a part of life. People are going to get upset when you make a mistake. It's your job to better yourself. But in order to do that, you need to have the other people around you also help you better yourself. Once you do that, you can actually change and move on. Not only is it a weight lifted off your shoulders, but everyone around you and the people who are angry can also have the weight lifted off their shoulders. So all I'm going to say here to end off this video is that K-pop fans, think. Understand your idol is not a baby. Understand that your fave has the right to be held accountable, and that they should. Because once they're able to be held accountable, they can move on to greater things. They can have more fans because now more people can trust them. We've seen certain people who have been held accountable in K-pop, and they're able to rise back up because you can tell they changed. Your fave has the chance to do the same, but if you don't let them, they'll stay stagnated in the same mindset that they had before. And they'll get into controversy after controversy. And the only people who will be looking like clowns will be you and your fave.